It is the moment we have all been waiting for. Yes, I can feel the tension. It is the first ever Sport and Order tournament final. It has been a long, multiple-month trek to get here on this beautiful, rainy, if you're in Chicago, Thursday. Baseball season is rolling. Cubs just got a win. We're not going to be talking about that. But we are having the Sport and Order tournament final today. Let's welcome in our two finalists, the upstart from the East Coast. Look at him battling his way in his Phillies hat. There is Sean Daley. And out of Indiana University, now on the West Coast, wearing his Big Lead hat today, the co-host of Assembly Hall, senior writer at the Big Lead, Ryan Phillips. Welcome, gentlemen, to the Sport and Order final. I'd like to, Sean, just talk to me about your nerves right now. What's going on over there?
I mean, Carm, every time I come on here, you say I'm the underdog. So I don't know if that means you don't believe in me, but it doesn't matter now.
My belief is irrelevant. It's how you step onto the Sport and Order dance floor and what you bring. This is a senior writer at Big Lead, talent extraordinaire that you're taking on today. But I believe in you, Sean Daley. I know you're right there. Ryan, your thoughts? Looking at Sean, look at that confidence. It's bursting off the screen.
Well, Sean edits my podcast, so I'm kind of worried how this is going to go. If things go well for me, I don't know if I'm going to have to check all the edits on my podcast in the future.
Well, this is people have power in life. Sean, you might want to consider using that in this situation. I don't exactly know how you would, but anything's on the table right now. All right, let's get it going here. Here we go. 7 questions, 30 seconds each to answer. I am the judge. I am the jury. It is first to 4 to take home the Sport and Order first ever tournament title today. We've got every corner of the sporting world hit today, and we're going to start with the NBA. And yes, the upstart, Sean, you are going first here. Kevin Durant, there he was, back in the lineup, coming off the bench, made his way onto the court in the second quarter last night. James Harden is out, but coming back hopefully sooner than later for the Nets. Kyrie's been playing very well as of late, put up 40 in 3 of his last 11, shot well in most of them. You got Blake Griffin. You got LaMarcus Aldridge. You've got an injured Lakers team. Are the Nets your NBA title favorite? Sean, what do you think?
No, I think all of those players they've gotten, whether it's Blake or Aldridge, I think they play well as secondary players. But you have to have the big 3 healthy, and right now Harden isn't. KD still coming off a soft tissue injury with a catastrophic leg injury, not that far in the rear view. I'd say it's Denver. Since they traded for Aaron Gordon, they looked unstoppable. They're undefeated. They have the MVP in Jokic. They have the league's best point differential, and MPJ is on fire from 3, over 50% clip. And this is all without Jamal Murray, who tends to become the human torch come playoff time. So I'm going with Denver.
Wow, I wasn't even asking for another play, and he brings out the Nuggets. Not that the Lakers are going to get healthy. It was interesting what you were touching on with Brooklyn there. Ryan, where are you at?
Look, if the Lakers are healthy, they're the favorites. But there's a long way to go before Anthony Davis comes back. As far as the Nets go, they're definitely the favorites in the Eastern Conference. Carman, there's a guy you didn't even mention. It's Joe Harris, who's hitting 48% from 3. They are so balanced. They have so much depth, and they can outscore everybody. The Lakers are the only team that plays so much defense, they could stop the Nets. And so without the Lakers in the mix, yes, the Nets are the favorite. It's all going to depend on Anthony Davis getting healthy, whether that leg gets healthy. And if the Lakers are there to greet him in the finals, I think the Lakers are the favorites. Other than that, the Nets are on fire. They're going to be fine.
This is interesting because out of the gates here, Daley goes big with a Nuggets play, which I did not expect. Maybe I should have expected it because Denver is playing great basketball. Nobody's willing to just stamp that the Lakers are going to get healthy. I do think the underlying part of this that where I guess I'm going to, Sean, the Rook's going to get on the board here because I don't trust, look, Kevin Durant, you haven't played much. James Harden, when are you coming back? So look, he's coming off the bench, so they know he's not 100%, and yes, they're trying to ease him in. So until we see this team healthy, I can't put the Nets up there. So 1-0 Daley on the board here. Let's stay with the league, but the future league as we look at the college basketball tournament, and we look at 2 studs in Cade Cunningham and Jalen Suggs. Of course, Suggs had a much deeper tournament run all the way to the final. A lot of people thought the Zags would take it. I was one of those people, but hey, Baylor was clearly the best team in the tournament. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But between Cunningham and Suggs, who are expected to go 1, 2, and 3, somewhere in there in the NBA draft. After you've digested this NCAA tournament, who is going to be the better NBA pro? Ryan, you're up.
Both are great, but it's going to be Cade Cunningham because he's been the best player in this class for 3 years, and that didn't change this year. He's a 6'8", 222-pound forward, but he's a point forward. He averaged 20 points, 6.2 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and shot 40% from three, 84% from the free throw line, which NBA scouts say is a better harbinger of NBA three-point shooting ability than college three-point shooting. He's a do-everything guy who's modeled his game after LeBron, and he played against better competition than Suggs all season. Suggs struggled with athletic defenders against UCLA and Baylor. I think Cade Cunningham looks like a ready-made pro and is going to step right in and be great.
Going with Cunningham, who I think is probably going to go number one. At least that's what all the mock drafts are telling you. But that doesn't mean that's going to be right. We've seen guys go number one and have it not work out. Markelle Fultz, I'm looking at you. Jalen Suggs or Cunningham? What do you think, Sean?
I go with Suggs. I mean, he has the NBA body. He's not going to get pushed around at the next level. Although he's only 6'4", he's definitely well built. He used to play football. You can pull up his highlights. He was an option QB. I love guys in multiple sports. He's clutch. We know that from the tournament. His shot isn't as bad as everyone keeps saying. Keep using the shot as something he can work on. He shot 35% from three. Not terrible. And in that Zags offense, you have to be unselfish. He can relocate without the ball. He can play on ball. He can play off ball. You need to do that on the wing in the NBA.
So this is where I go straight bias because I think it's going to be Suggs, and Sean, you are with me. Ryan just thought he was the only guy doing anything in the damn final when he put
Look
up
at the numbers.
He had 22. He had 3 assists. He shot 50% from the field. He wasn't terrible. I mean, I thought he was great. I thought he was keeping him in the game. I thought he was going down the lane. He had 16 against UCLA. He had 6 assists in that game. I don't know. I look at I see a guy who's also been huge in the clutch, although I'm probably overrating one shot. I'm a believer in Jalen Suggs. I think he's more solid. I think that guy's. I look at him. I see Jason Kidd. This guy's going to be a stud. I would please end up in Chicago. Jalen Suggs. Just miss the playoffs, get in that 10th spot, end up in the lottery, win it. A la Derrick Rose back in the day. Jalen Suggs, Bulls. Next thing you know, you have something. Question 3. Daley out earlier, 2-0. And Sean, you're up. Sam Darnold. He's landed in Carolina, perhaps to save himself, perhaps to save the Panthers. We'll see. Certainly interesting. The draft picks going back to the Jets. Teddy Bridgewater, my guy. He's a man without a home. I think we should find him one right now on the Sport and Order Championship round. Where is the best spot for Teddy to play in 2021? Sean?
Call me crazy, but it's Carolina. I mean, just because Darnold comes in doesn't mean he's going to lock down the job for the next 10 years. What's to say he's going to get hurt or can't read secondaries or gets a weird kissing disease associated with teenagers? I mean, all those things happened in New York, I might add. Teddy may be Captain Checkdown, but sit tight. The Panthers QB job could be open again. And he showed he can step in for Drew Brees. He went 5-0 with the Saints as a backup. I mean, make your money and maybe you get a chance.
So keeping him as at worst an insurance policy. All right. Where do you go here, Ryan?
Bridgewater wants to start, and the place to go is Denver. They have the cap space to absorb his contract. They have multiple weapons, including Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, who was a 1,000-yard receiver before a knee injury, Noah Fant, Melvin Gordon, KJ Hamler. All they need is a guy who can complete passes. And Drew Lock can't do that. They have a good offensive line. They've beefed up their defensive free agency. They just need a guy to complete passes. That's it. And while Bridgewater won't blow you away, he was actually pretty decent in Carolina. He just doesn't fit their system. Darnold from him.
Yeah, you can't give up 3 picks and then just hang Teddy around here. This guy's a class act. He deserves to play. There's a ton of teams that need quarterback help. Denver is certainly there. That makes a whole lot of sense to me. Take care of Teddy. Open the door for Sam. If it doesn't work out, you can always find your quarterback down the line. You got a ton of picks. So Sam Darnold, you're the man in Carolina. Teddy Bridgewater, Denver. I like it. Ryan Phillips is on the board. 2-1 here after 3 questions. Liking how this is going so far. The Atlanta Falcons, as we go to question 4, they own the number 4 overall pick in the NFL draft. The Falcons, of course, have 35-year-old Matt Ryan under center. We're expecting a run on quarterbacks. Somebody probably wants to move up to number 4. So the Falcons have 3 options. Should they either A, draft Ryan's replacement, kind of do a Green Bay Packer type of move? Should they trade the pick and try to bolster that way? Or do you draft someone that you think will help Matt Ryan and company win football games? Ryan, you're up.
I don't think Matt Ryan is what he was and maybe isn't the stud he was anymore. It would be completely irresponsible to take quarterback at number 4, given Matt Ryan's contract. If they cut or trade him now, $65 million cap hit. If they cut or trade him in 2022, $40.5 million cap hit. He's not going anywhere because nobody is taking that on. They made their bed, and now they need to fill out the team. And that'll also make it work better for a quarterback down the line. At number 4, you're going to get a big haul from somebody who wants to move up for whichever quarterback falls. That's what you do, or you take somebody to help the offense like Kyle Pitts at number 4.
So definitely keeping my bottom line is you're not drafting a quarterback according to Ryan, which I think is probably what's going to happen here, but we shall see. Sean, what do you got?
I mean, I think we're overrating this QB class, so I wouldn't force it. I think their recipe for winning when Ryan was good, and he's not even that terrible, 26 touchdowns, 11 picks. But when he was the MVP, they surrounded him with elite level talent and a fast to the ball, opportunistic defense. I mean, this year, QBs who played him at a QBR over 100. I say you trade back, you go with Patrick Surtain Jr. at corner, get a little faster and younger on that end, and not reach for one of the QBs in the first round. I think after Lawrence, it kind of drops off anyway.
You were one Kyle Pitts away from taking a 3-1 lead. If you had said, give me the tight end, flame out the offense, you were right there, brother. I was going to put you one question away from taking the whole damn thing. But you went for the defense, which does not excite me. Ryan's giving me more options, so we're going to tie it up after 4 questions. Going to number 5, we're sticking with the NFL. Sean, you are up. The tension building here. Sport and Order Final. This is awesome. The word is out. Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones. He loves the guy I just mentioned in Kyle Pitts. Cowboys have the 10th pick in the draft. Question is, should Dallas move up to get this elite pass-catching tight end? The blocking might not be there, but it's supposedly decent to jumpstart their offense, or perhaps not listen to anything that Jerry says. Sean, you're up here. Should the Cowboys be aggressive?
Yeah. I mean, despite their terrible playoff record since the late 90s, Jerry does a good job of identifying offensive skill players. I mean, Zeke Elliott, DeMarco Murray, Miles Austin even, CeeDee Lamb, Jason Witten. He gets guys. 2, Pitts is amazing. First tight end to ever be finalist for the Biletnikoff. He put up 130 yards in a tug against Alabama, which is basically an NFL defense anyway. And he's from outside the Philly area, which is always a nice touch. The only worry here is that he'll torment my Eagles for a decade. But I think trade up if you like him.
All right. Be aggressive, Dallas. Listen to Jerry. Ryan?
No, the Cowboys don't need a tight end. I mean, it's a very Jerry Jones move, but I don't think it's the right one. The offense got a jump start by Dak Prescott being healthy. The reason they were bad last year is because I'm sorry, Carm, but Andy Dalton was at quarterback. The Cowboys have an elite receiving core with Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, and their young tight end Dalton Schultz caught 63 passes last year. What they need to do is bolster the defense because they took so long to sign Dak Prescott. They lost Byron Jones to Miami. They could have franchise tagged him. They need to stay at number 10, take Patrick Surtain or J.C. Horn at quarterback and help that defense.
I was really hoping that somebody would say, just never listen to Jerry, even though Jerry's had his moments in time where he's been right, but which did not completely come out or even close to come out actually here. But I do think that Ryan is laying out what's actually needed for Dallas more so than anything else. They have to actually keep teams off the scoreboard. So as attractive as Pitts would be to that offense, it's not a need. The Cowboys have a lot of them. I am a huge proponent of taking the best available player, but trading up aggressively to do it and giving up picks, that doesn't make sense for Dallas right now. So no, don't trade up. I think it's a play to sit there and take the best available defender. Ryan, you've got 3. Sean, you've got 2. That's 3 in a row for Phillips. Can Daley stop the Tiger with baseball? And yes, Major League Baseball has chosen Colorado to host this year's All-Star Game. After leaving Atlanta, MLB said it chose Denver because the city had already submitted a plan to host a future All-Star Game, could quickly gear up for this year's game. My question is, was Denver the right call, or did they just look into a stack of papers and say Denver? You're up.
I mean, look, I'm always going to advocate for San Diego because there's less than 0% chance of a rain out and having to play it the next day. But yeah, it was probably the right call. Colorado, Coors Field hasn't hosted an All-Star game since 1998. That's 23 years, and they were definitely in the mix up for it again. It's a good park in a nice area, and the ball flies out of it, so there'll be offense. It'll be worth watching. It'll be great. Unless you're a pitcher. But let's be real, this is also about voting laws. In Colorado has universal mail-in voting, same-day registration. They couldn't go to a place that had the same laws that Georgia just passed. That was their whole point of taking a stand. You have to, if you're going to take a stand, take a stand. Don't just move it somewhere else that's the same.
Multiple reasons going on here. Sean, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, it was a great call. I mean, besides making it an example of Georgia for changing their voter restrictions,